Ghost in the Shell was originally a Japanese cyberpunk manga which started in 1989. It was made into an animated film in 1995 and has a huge following amongst cyberpunk fans. When the announcement was made that Ghost in the Shell was going to be turned into a live-action movie, there was a lot of excitement. But when the movie hit the silver screen, there were a lot of sad faces. It was met with mixed reviews and criticised for its story and lack of character development. A little unusual actually, because the story is pretty much exactly the same story from the original 1995 animated film. There seemed to be a lot of outcry of the use of Scarlett Johansson, a white woman, playing a Japanese character, even though that character happened to be a constructed cyborg body of indeterminate racial origin. It drew accusations of whitewashing and racism, i.e., some people got upset about this because it offended their fragile sensibilities. Interestingly, Mamoru Oshii, a well-known Japanese anime director, commented on the film saying that the character of Major Motoko uses an assumed body and name, so there is no basis for saying that an Asian actress must portray her. I can only sense a political motive from the people opposing it, and I believe artistic expression must be free from politics." End quote. In saying that, I'm not so convinced that Scarlett Johansson was a great choice for this role. Not because of her colour, but I wondered if there might be some other actress who could have better portrayed Major Motoko Kusanagi. Maggie Q was around at the time and had proven herself capable of an action role in Nikita. Zhang Jiayi had done some action performances in Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon and Hero. Neither of them is Japanese, but both Asian actresses could have handled the role. Hollywood, though, often jumps on the bandwagon of using the biggest name that they can get, rather than using someone who might be more fitting to a role. Ghost in the Shell was filmed primarily in New Zealand. It was directed by Rupert Sanders, who also did Snow White and the Huntsman. It had a production budget of $110 million and returned just under $170 million worldwide. One of the key themes of the film seems to be the transition of society from human to cyborg. As can be noted from what Dr. Darlin says to Major Motoko.
"You're what everyone will become one day."
We see it in several conversations as some characters are constantly getting new upgrades.
"You got enhanced so you can drink more?"
While others are resisting the attempt to get implants. This is a truly interesting concept, and one that humans will inevitably face in the future. Will the disparity between pure humans and cybernetically enhanced individuals create a new form of prejudice in society? Cyberism. What does the movie do well? The visuals of this film are fantastic. It looks great, and it's a really interesting and innovative take on a futuristic cyberpunk city. Some of the character design is really good, with the spider-like geisha robots, metal-jawed yakuza, and the various cybernetic implants on individuals throughout the film. Some of the sets are really good as well. The cyber den of Kuze, the various clinical facilities of Section 9, and of course the amazing flooded plaza set. The soundtrack was also pretty strong. The story I couldn't fault, to be honest. Even though others have criticised it, it's basically just the story from the original anime. So what's the fucking problem? What could be done better? The one thing that really irritated me about this film was the CG and movement of Johansson's character. I can tell that they were trying to get her to move in a more mechanical way, but she strutted like some kind of butch schoolyard bully. There was a lack of grace, something which was there in abundance in the original '95 animated release. They also never really explained that she was wearing a suit with stealth technology over the top of her artificial body, and the nude style suit looks really weird. I also think that the casting of Johansson in this role was off. It's not because she's a bad actress, she just doesn't read right for this role. Inevitably, a film like this is compared to the original, but a live-action film is never going to be able to live up to the expectations of some of its fans. When the original story came out, it was exactly that, truly original. It was an amazing story about a person whose brain was implanted into a completely cybernetic body and then turned into a killing machine by a devious government organization. The journey of that individual to discovering their roots and ultimately rebelling against the authority is a classic. I think that we need to take this film for what it is, a remake. It was never going to do anything truly original other than visually. To be fair, I think it's a decent story. Is it the greatest cyberpunk film ever? Not by any means, but it contributes something to the genre. There is certainly some disparity between the more action-oriented focus of the cinematic release and the more existential, crisis-driven questioning of the original. But then, Hollywood was never known for being as philosophical as the writers of cyberpunk anime, who are always questioning humanity and our motivations. Japanese writers aren't afraid to ask esoteric questions and to explore the arcane, cryptic, and abstruse. So much of the original cyberpunk was driven by questions about the nature of humanity and how it is affected by technology, an oppressive government, and corporate influence. So much of Hollywood is driven by making money from what they perceive as being what moviegoers want, which is usually more action and special effects. Unfortunately, I think that Hollywood underestimates the intelligence of so many of its viewers, and they typically make movies for 14-year-olds. Ultimately, I think that many reviewers have been overly harsh in their treatment of Ghost in the Shell. We shouldn't expect too much from a remake of this kind, and while there are certainly things that I would have changed, overall it's a decent flick. Thanks for watching. Please like this video and subscribe to the channel. It really helps the channel to grow and helps me to bring you more interesting content. See you next time.